people who are single can see the right thing to do. There's always going to be something to chase.
Exactly.
Why are you placing expectations on me
You
as
get.
a person who asked you? Someone doesn't have to be struggling for you to
Be nice,
Be-
kind,
you get-
for, yeah, for
Exactly.
you to choose your, or for you to mind your business, basically.
So we're here, the final 30.
Okay, so today is very interesting and I'm pretty excited because I'm not alone today. I have really special people on my channel today. Let me introduce you first. Okay, so I have Margarita and I have Oyinda.
Hi.
It's funny that I'm actually this is the first time I'm actually having the conversation physically with Margarita.
Yeah, actually.
We've never had
Yes.
I'm in
guys
nursing
met
school.
recently?
No, nursing school. We have mutual friends.
Yeah.
It's been Instagram. Yeah, it's been Instagram. This is the first time I'm actually having a proper conversation, physically with Margarita, and I'm really excited. So, hello. And then I stole Oyinda from Ife right in your face. We have one thing in common, and that's why we're here. So, before we go into the conversation, I would let Oyinda and Margarita introduce themselves.
Okay, hi, I'm Oyinda. She already said that.
Yeah.
What else I'm supposed to say? I'm an artist.
Yes.
And I'm also turning 30 this year.
Yay! 30 gang.
I think she preempted the topic. But hi, I'm Margarita.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer and I am an event planner. And I turn 30 in a few days' time.
Oh,
Yeah, in 2 days' time.
Yes.
In 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday now.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Margarita. All right, so I want to talk about what our expectations are for 30 and how 20s has been. We're living 20s and it's a mixed feeling for me, Sha. You know, Margarita did a whole video, really happy today. What 30?
I made a video outside. I'm super excited. I can't wait to be 30. I am super excited. Now, when people clock 30, I can finally tell them, welcome to the third floor without feeling like, hey, I'm not on the third floor. I'm welcoming somebody where I'm not yet there. So, hey, happy birthday to me in a bit. Yes.
I can't wait to be 30.
I can't wait to tell people because normally when I see someone who isn't up to 30, I tell that person happy birthday. Welcome to the third floor. I'm like, why are you welcome to the third floor? And
when you're not there.
When you're not
you only
there.
welcome someone when you are already there.
Mhm.
Like, why are you
So
welcoming?
I said, oh, how can I? So I'm really waiting to be able to tell someone, oh, welcome to the
Third floor.
And sincerely mean
Wow. Okay, but I'm indifferent sharp because I think I'm used to being a baby and I feel like the more I grow older, I'm no longer a baby.
oh, well.
I'm always going to be a baby.
Do you get?
When people keep telling me, you don't know you're getting old, I'm like, okay,
And so
I mean,
I
that
don't
child
think
in
these
you
things
that
yeah,
As in-
yeah.
and feeding and taking care of. That's that your inner child.
As in, I think I said you one time, but if I ever lose my inner child, I feel sad.
It wants to be a baby forever, right?
I mean, because I feel like you can't coexist. You can keep your child
Yeah.
and still be a responsible adult, right?
Actually.
That's true.
And my husband can't wait for me to be 30 because I've shaded him too much.
Yeah,
anything, anything is doing, I'm like, That's how they behave. So he can't wait for me to be 30, so I can do something to me too. So yeah, Margarita, happy birthday in advance. I'm so happy you're turning 30. I'm so grateful for life, really, because it's a privilege to be alive to be 30.
Absolutely.
And I pray that we see 60, we see 90 if God wills, and 100. You know what's 100?
Maybe 90 something. 100 is too far.
You think so?
I think so.
I was 8 yesterday.
No, what I mean by 100 is too far. It's just like you're feeble. Except maybe we just live the healthy life. But this our generation and we do the whole healthy stuff.
Yeah.
Except we pick up the healthy lifestyle and then we live healthy. I really don't want people doing stuff for me. I don't want to be bedridden and everybody's having to take care of, oh, my really grandmother or great grandmother.
I have a 93-year-old grandma and she's so agile.
I mean, 90 something is fair, but 100 plus. Rest in peace.
Do you mind?
Well, as God wills.
Me, I would say strength is of the Lord. So God,
Yeah.
Peter, give me the
As
strength.
God wills.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to live
Yes.
to a good ripe old age.
Mm-hmm.
Once I'm done fulfilling my purpose.
Yeah.
Whenever.
Yeah. True.
Purpose-driven life.
Yep.
Okay, so this expectation that society have of women when you're clocking 30, I think we're 25 thereabout, and there's this pressure. I think I've asked myself this question like a month ago, just like a thought. Am I doing that actually like when I'm probably doing something, I talk to myself a lot. Do you do it as well?
You do what?
Talk to myself a whole lot.
Oh no.
I have like pretty conversation, like lot of conversation with myself.
For me, it's funny conversation.
Yeah.
I entertain.
Yeah, you don't do
myself.
that.
I entertain
I
myself.
do a lot. So I'm looking at
Like
you.
I always tell myself like.
So it's all
other people who don't talk.
okay.
Okay.
I do that a
always like
lot.
the funniest person on earth when I'm having a conversation. I'm like, oh God, you're killing me with these jokes. So that's what
I do that a lot. So I was thinking about that. Okay, will I be pretty excited the way I am now, clocking 30, if I don't have the things I have now? Like, for example, let's just be honest. You see, marriage and children. That's one thing that they say. Oh, you're about to be 30. You're not married. You don't have children. Like, will I be bold enough to celebrate my 30th birthday if I don't have children, which I don't? Or if I'm not married, right? Do you
I think
understand?
that question is for me. I think both of you are both married.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm still single, not even in a relationship, and then I don't have kids. Do you understand? So there's this. It's just that I've come to realize and accept wherever I find myself.
Yeah.
And I'm always content with that position. Like, okay, this is where God wants me
To be at this
this
time.
time. So if you wanted me to have kids or have a spouse, I mean, I would have them. So it's just like, oh, you're 30. So what? Just be happy with where you are and content with everything. I have nephews and nieces. And a niece, yeah. So they're like my children.
I have nieces and nephews. That's so adorable.
I mean, I can return
You have a
them,
niece?
collect them,
I
return
have a
them.
niece. Like a lot of people think she's my child. Like people who meet me on Instagram or whatever, and like, oh, how's the little girl? She's fine. And I only see her like maybe twice a year. And I make the most of it. Like I have enough content to last me till I see her again.
Are you
People
serious?
always think she's my child.
That's nice.
But that's like so by the way. I don't think I wouldn't be as happy if I was turning 30 and I was still not married, because now that I'm almost 30, I got married at like 25. I was 25 when I got married. And sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, I was so young. Like, why did I get married at such a young age? Because the closer I get to 30, I constantly feel myself coming more into myself. I know myself better.
Yeah.
I know what my expectations are to an extent. I have more clarity on a lot of things. There are also like so many things that I'm more comfortable talking about or approaching or asking for now. Because I feel like when I got married at 25, it was because there was no reason not to.
Yeah.
It wasn't because, I was hungry for marriage or I was particularly ready for marriage. It was just like, okay, I've been in a relationship with someone for so long. He's a great guy. I don't have any reason not to get married. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like I had a vision.
Yeah.
By 25, I want to get married.
Yeah. Some parts
and sometimes I feel like sometimes because I have a lot of friends that are still single and are 30, over 30. And I don't think of them any differently. They're just normal people. They're just girls living their lives. They're happy people. And sometimes they don't even remember, except someone brings it up. Like, who is the guy? I'm like, If there's a guy, maybe you will know that there's a guy.
Do you understand?
Almost like every single year for me. Like this year, I had people call me, so when is the date? I'm like, I will let you know when they say date.
So
some people are
so annoying.
Find me a man and there'll be a date.
Do you know, when I was about to get married, I had like, no offense to the older generation, but you guys do a lot.
Pressure.
I had two people that called me like, do you know as you're listening right now, you can't be friends with your friends anymore. Like legit. You can't be friends with your friends anymore. You now have to start having friends that are married, so you can read them. And I'm like,
how
how?
now? Like, do people lose their brains when they are not
Yeah.
married? Like, I get that there are some experiences that that you can only relate with someone else with on a
Mm-hmm.
married level,
Level, yeah.
because even sometimes like when people are maybe on social media talking about a marital issue, and then like single people are
Mm.
chipping in and all, and people are like, oh no, you are not married.
So you can
I'm like,
understand. You can have an
actually,
opinion.
the only difference is that I feel like people who are single can see the
What?
right thing to do. Do you get?
Yeah.
They know what is the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But for you who are married, by the time you're married, you realize that, oh, it's not always as easy as it
Yeah.
seems.
Yeah.
Once you get married, it's not just about, oh, this is right, this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That
Just
I
meet
don't
in the
know.
middle.
No. They're just elements that would influence your decisions, that
Mm-hmm.
would influence your perspective on different things. You get, this person is like, for example, for like maybe people who say, oh, if your husband cheats on you, what do you
What do
do?
you do? Mm.
The typical thing you get is, this person has broken the vow. We had an agreement,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
chose
Mm-hmm.
to be with me.
Mm-hmm.
You get, but then when you're married, it now becomes,
Should I not?
Should I,
Should I not? Yes.
because
on my phone?
Yeah.
you no longer
Because
see this
yeah.
person as just an idea. You see this
Yes.
person as a human being. You
Being
get,
they're
your
commit they're
lives are
totally
like
yeah.
intertwined,
Yeah.
and all of that. So it's not just about, oh, do I forgive him or do I not forgive
Yeah.
him? It's more about, oh, what were you thinking? What happened? Do you get? That's if the person
It's
the
remorseful.
person in question is remorseful and
Yeah.
people are actually talking about
Yeah.
it. Do you get? So I mean, it's things like that.
So what actually influenced this thoughts in my mind that like I was talking to myself was I had a friend at clock 30, and if you ask me, she's doing so great, business wise, career wise, she's doing so great. But her birthday was like she was mourning because she felt like she didn't have what she was supposed to have at 30. And I was wondering that when it comes to celebrating wins, how come we have really made it so much that we celebrate getting married, having children, and then you forget friends that actually have like a very healthy lifestyle, like
Telling
people that are
you.
not that literally came out of depression, people that like
Battle with,
join us a battle with
like,
depression and then they
yeah.
actually came out like fine. People that started a business like or something they did online and then they went like ahead with it and then they did
I'm
so great.
telling you,
The
or
best
There's so
and-
many
and
things to
sorry,
like
people.
sometimes I'm like, my best friend just turned 30,
Mm-hmm.
and she's single as well. And I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to say, but like people disturb her a lot as well. But sometimes I'm just like, this girl is so inspiring. Like the things that she has had to face alone. Can I even do those things? I feel
That
like
was what I
I've
thought about my
gotten
friend
to
as
a
well.
point where I'm so dependent because I'm basically hitched to someone else.
Yeah.
And I feel like, well, I always have someone to fall back on.
Yeah.
Do you get? And that's yeah, doing with it. That's just the yama yama behavior.
You're asking me, I said
honest.
my channel right. My husband literally forced me to because I just do jokingly. I just like I'll actually like shoot videos, edit, and just leave it there.
Leave them.
So one day, naturally, that okay, before after COVID, when COVID happened, like this life is short. You have to do this thing. This when I even got married, then it was like you have to shoot this video, we'll edit together, and you have to post it. I remember I posted on 31st night because like we had an agreement that I was going to post it. So yeah, it come like it's about to be midnight. Are you not going to post this video? I'm like, I'm on it. It was like just do this thing. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Do you get? So now I feel like now my friend like she does things by herself. She has like a very good business, like booming business online. She has like a 9 to 5. She juggles things. I'm kind of person that when I okay, I want to do this thing now, fine, I'm already tired. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to do it again. And then my husband she has to force me to do things. But unlike her, she's doing these things by herself. I say I was very confident and so when she was all like, I mean, let's go out, like she wants to go out. I even tried to like organize things for her. Almost she just scattered everything. And I'm like, so I said thinking about it, like, okay, what if I'm in her shoes? Would I have done the same? I was just trying to like put myself in her shoes. Then I remember that before I got married, like when they say you don't have Ironu in Yoruba, like you do so think. So when everybody's like, when my mom called, my mom couldn't ask me. She has to like call my best friend, like, I hope you know that you are girls, you are ladies, and you are flowers. Then I go home. My friend, actually, she was moody. And I'm like, because we used to live together. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, nothing. Okay, I just left her. My I moved on. Then next year, like she just talked to me that she please don't just get angry. That she knows that if she tell me I was going to go and wait for my mom and whatnot, I just talk. Our like I said, older generation they don't know where to draw the line. But yeah, so another thing about that wait oh, people are actually expecting me to get married. That's when they say get it to me like people, like oh Nero, like you don't used to think.
Yeah.
Like you don't like
They're
think
just mindless.
and just mindless.
Don't have
I
any.
didn't think I was in that like category of people that they are trying
Yeah.
to when people are getting I'm like, oh my god, that's so nice. I was not
You
the
know
girl
this.
that
Sorry, go on.
I was not the girl that like maybe imagine yourself in a wedding dress, like have that expect. I was never that girl. That's Cinderella. So do you know when I go to weddings, right? Which I don't go to like lots of weddings. But when I go to weddings, I'm like, oh, that's cool, that's nice. I never thought about it. Then one of my close friends now got married 2019. Then one of my aunts now called me and said, oh, are you coming for the wedding? I'm like, oh no, I tried to come, but then I don't have the resources. Then she's like, okay, you're getting fat, oh, so make sure you do fast.
What?
Do you know the funny I did pick offense? I was still very and like, oh, I said you were praying for me. And I just said my friend. Now when I added for like, who says that?
Yeah.
Then when I said, okay, clicking that way too. Actually, my mother called about 3 weeks ago asking about husband. Now my auntie saying this, okay, what's going on? That's when I started like, becoming conscious that okay, I'm expecting. It was never a thought. And then I actually like I'm actually very glad I was never pressured because I feel like maybe it probably would have made me depressed or affected me somehow. I'm glad I was actually very and the way God works, right? The moment I got a job, I met my husband, and then that was so it was like I was chasing what I meant to chase part time. So that was okay. But then in society, we're not married, like and now like
Wahala.
You know, there's the external pressure and the internal
yeah.
pressure. That's like a crack and then letting water to get in. As long as you keep yourself tight,
Yeah.
tight from their pressure,
Yeah.
you're good to go.
So for my friend, she had that like crack because she talks about it a lot. I'm like, I don't even think we should think about marriage because we're not even there yet. If you ask me,
But sometimes when you are in a happy relationship, you forget about yourself. You forget. It's easy to like forget about your goals and just get comfortable. You're just like super comfortable. That's why sometimes when you are fighting with somebody, that's why you are thinking that I should apply for my master's. Or that might be
Yeah,
let me
yeah.
because now you're regrouping, you're coming back to self, and you're like, oh, what's good for me at this point? Now that this person is not in my life, what is good for me? What am I doing for myself?
Yes, okay.
Or like sometimes when you're in a happy relationship,
you know,
you are
like
just in that
nothing,
bubble.
bubble,
You are just,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Well, sometimes I feel except you have someone who keeps reminding
Minding.
you.
so that's
And I think that's one thing I'm
another
blessed with.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
another
Yes.
part, right?
yeah,
Reminding you not to lose yourself. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you still have
Yeah.
this thing, you still have you
Yeah.
set this time to do this, do that. So you need to be back on track.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like, the point of this particular part of our conversation is just like if you're clocking 30, 29, whatever age, like, celebrate every little. No win is little. And marriage and children is not everything that has to do with life, to be honest. There's so much more. There's so much more.
Apart from there being so much more, there's always going to be something to chase.
Exactly.
Now, I'm married. I've been married for like something like I think about it. I'm like, oh, I've actually been married for like 4 years. So like since like my second year of marriage, people, my parents, family, children. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about that. You want me to get pregnant? I don't even want you to know I'm having sex. You want me to get pregnant, and everybody will know that I'm having sex. No, I'm going to be shy. I'm still trying to even figure out being a wife to someone else. But sometimes I'm just living my life and they're like, oh, as a wife, I'm like, eh? Like I've just been living my life basically. But then sometimes you have to really come to that realization like,
Realization.
oh, this is something else I have to pick up. This is something I have to add to being myself. So before, for me, it was that I don't want to lose myself to marriage. I don't want to lose my identity. Like, when I meet people, oh, yeah, tomorrow, no, yeah, my name is Oinda. I'm like, I'm not just this person's wife, or I'm not just this. Like, my name is Oinda. Like, I'm an artist. These are things you need to know about me. Because, I mean,
There's a lot. There's a lot.
Like, I started off rebelling, like when I just got married. Like if you come at me with any, I'm just like,
come back.
But I can't imagine
I'm
that
just
when we
like-
come back, Sha.
one of those really sweet people. So I have all the comebacks in my head. I choose not to say them out loud
Out,
because
yeah.
I've chosen to be a kind person.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just leave that. Why are you placing expectations on me
You
as
get.
a person who asked you? Someone doesn't have to be struggling for you to
Be nice,
Be-
kind,
you get-
for, yeah, for
Exactly.
you to choose your, or for you to mind your business, basically. This is something that
Actually.
is just not your business, right?
Yeah.
Like if I don't, so if I choose that I just don't want children at all, I want children. But like if I choose that I just don't want children at all, like how long am I going to keep looking like a bad person to you?
Forever.
Like
Society.
is that going to be a
That's
forever
forever
thing?
thing.
Am I, do you get, like some things are just, you have to be self-aware enough to let people live in their choices. Right?
Yeah.
If they decide to change their minds later,
That's good and fine. And
you
they
know,
don't.
all good and fine. Okay.
Margarita wrote, "Oh wow, 30."
No. It's what I told someone to.
Oh wow, 30.
I told someone to be the cake for my friend Shama. And she was asking me what I wanted to be written on the cake.
And the cake, so,
oh wow, 30. I mean, so the final 30. I've had people tell me, once you clock 30, prepare for
Yeah, she was
your
giving
back
me,
pain,
she was just me
your knee pain. Someone texted me 3 days ago and said, "Oh, it's 8 days to when you now understand why 30-year-olds are groggy." I'm like, no, be my papa groggy with you guys. I'm not looking forward to knee pain. I'm not even expecting those negative things.
Yeah.
So it's actually a thing that we're
my
clocking 30.
That's what they say.
Like if I sit for long, my knees get stiff.
And I see those jokes where people say, "Oh, you're trying to stress your 30 plus knee. You shouldn't stress you're trying to dance. You just remember, oh, my knees."
Yeah.
I just feel like the energy is different when you're entering 20 and when you're getting 30.
Like 30 is young. I don't,
you get so yeah. So
there's 40, there's 50, there's 60.
Like I feel like 30 is so young because now I'm almost 30 and I'm just like, oh, I'm just me, right? Like I'm just me, like it's just me and my friends. Like this is our generation. These are 30 people. We're just young people now.
There's more pressure and expectations on 30-year-old females.
Yeah.
Different from the guy. Because for the guys, sometimes they're just like, okay, just financial stability. Or they'll tell you, oh, marriage comes with blessings. If you get married, your wife will bring you that good luck.
So then you don't have the good luck, then your wife is the one that will not bring the good luck.
So there's the whole pressure. There's already a pressure for girls of, you should sit this way, you should laugh this way, you should talk this way, you should eat this way, you shouldn't save it from public and all. So then that pressure, it keeps increasing from when you're younger to when you get to 30. Oh, you should be married at this time. Oh, you can't be doing things this way.
You're 30.
You should try to restructure your life. You should try to see other things differently because you're 30. So there's so much pressure on the female 30-year-olds. There's now the pressure of when you were probably 19. You looked forward, except you. You had people, I remember when I was in SS2, I'd be like, oh, by the time I'm 21, I'll be married. And then by 24, I'll have 3 plates. And that was what
you had that. I never had.
I had in my head. No, I was 15 or so. That's what I just thought by the time I'm 21. So as I got older, like 19-year-old older, I just realized I wanted something different for myself. I just wanted to live my life and actually fulfill my purpose. And I always tell people I'm the happiest person you ever meet on earth. Like genuinely happy. And so I didn't think that pressure of wanting to
be a type of person that I usually am.
So I'm just expecting the positive thing out of life. That's what it is for me. So I don't really.
And that's way to
so please, 30 plus people that will keep telling others expect me pain.
No, stop it! Don't do that.
Now you understand why 30-year-olds are always groggy.
You need to take care of
That's
yourself.
unfair. That's really unfair for it.
It's really unfair. That's not how to welcome people to 30.
Yes,
it's not how to welcome. Like you're meant to buy us ice cream and
welcome.
Like with the positive stories, not bad pain. And
I think I was speaking to my neighbor earlier today, and she was saying that she feels when you're 30, the pressure comes down once you just clock 30 on married. That's what she thinks. Because the pressure was before you go to 30, and once you marry before I get 30.
No, you're in 30.
So please, 30 plus, advise 29-year-olds. But that does not mean I'm not gonna tell other people that. Like, I'm just going to continue that meat. I just I won't continue. But please just be like that. Yeah.
So I was the 20s.
I don't know. I think my 20s were interesting. There was just so much growing. So it was,
Growth, yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of pain. Pain is a dramatic word, but like growing pains.
Yeah.
Like there's some things you always thought were some way, but they're just not that way because now you actually see them.
And you eat, yeah.
You are living those things. There's some things you thought you knew about yourself that you're like,
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know this that well, or no, now I know this about myself. I don't want to be this person, or this is the kind of person I want to be. This is what I want my life to be about. Just things like that. You're growing, you're getting more responsible.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily by choice. It just happens. Like that's life. You now have to be responsible for something.
Yeah.
Like you are going to see other people making progress.
Yeah.
You get? So it's up to you to decide that, oh, I want to be better. I don't want to be a jealous person. I want to also be living in this prosperity that I see around.
And wait for your own.
Wait for your own. Yeah.
And for me, I got married. So that was another level of growing and learning, relearning, rediscovering myself as a single person. I felt like I knew myself. I'm the happiest girl in the world.
Yeah.
I pride myself on my happiness. But then the older I got, I'm like, oh, I'm a happy girl. But that's not all that there is
to be. Yeah.
Right? I am someone who has chosen to be kind, but how do I handle people who take me for granted? All of that. I have to work through all of that.
Yeah.
And thank God for the Holy Spirit, because for me, that's where I get like most of the time when I need wisdom to navigate like a particular thing, it's usually the Holy Spirit who helps me and just drops something on my mind at some point, and that thought develops, and then I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, okay, so this is the way I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to approach this, and so for me, it was just growing pains. It's been growing pains. But the interesting thing about growing pains is that you are growing, right?
Yeah.
So you actually start to see the results, and that's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, oh, okay, so going through that wasn't that bad. Because thinking of the person that I am now, I'm like, oh, I like myself actually. You're pretty awesome. Okay. So it wasn't that bad. And sometimes I feel like I now, this is so weird because I like soft life. But
we all do, don't you? I love soft life.
But now I now appreciate. Sometimes I appreciate like some of the trials that I've had to go through, because it just feels more fulfilling knowing that, oh, I went through that. I got through that.
It makes you stronger. Yeah.
I learned so and so from that. And if someone else comes to, like, I don't want to be just an adult who doesn't have anything to share to make the lives of the people coming after me better.
Yeah.
Like I have like a few younger friends who would usually come to me, oh, you blah 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 blah, and I'm like, who do you think I am? How wise do you think I am? Like, but then something, because you are willing to help, you actually have the wisdom from God. Do you get? And if you haven't developed yourself or submitted yourself to this process, you would not have any of that to share with people. So. Yeah,
I think one time I felt really old. It was when my niece called me. I was like, okay, so she's not in SS1 and she think about career path. Like, what can I advise her? And I'm like, you're asking me? And then I have to answer because you cannot follow. Because I have to answer. I'm like, okay, so what do you like doing? So I was doing like, okay, we actually give an advice. Like, I'm actually an adult. I'm actually giving a career path advice. And so I think what 20s taught me, right? That never say never word. Like, never say never. Just know your boundaries and then know what you do, what you not do, but never say never. There are so many things I said that I was never going to do, and then I started understanding this. That it's not just by what people see. The person that is in it is the one that's experiencing whatever they're experiencing. And 20 is actually very beautiful for me because I feel like it's a path I had to like cross to be where I am today. So like you said, it's like a learning curve, and it's like a season of a whole decade of actually discovering myself. I'm still getting there. I'm not there yet because there are days I'm like, I beg. whatever today is. I'm just
The
not.
thing is, it's never, you're never going to fully discover.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because by the time you're in your 40s, you are someone's mother. Who is Ife as the mother of teenagers?
Do you
Or who is
understand?
Ife as the owner of a multinational company or whatever?
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Amen.
Discovering yourself, because there
yeah.
are always going to be layers of you. You know how life is, a new layer unlocked with the new challenges, everything. Like
Oh my
once you finish
God.
your challenge, oh yeah,
Like
unlock a new
in
one.
my place of work now, I'm the only female of about 30 men, and I'm the youngest. I've never in my life thought I'm going to be in that kind of situation where, first of all, you are young, you're among men.
Yeah.
It's a challenging
Yeah,
role.
society.
And then there are times that, do you know, like the first year on the job, right? I feel like in a week, about 3 times in a week, I'll go to the bathroom and cry my eyes out. And I'll come out smiling like, no, we move. And then and then it's my third year on the job now, and I'm like, okay, I'm actually doing this now. I know better. I think the first time I actually like had like a comeback for somebody, like somebody spoke to me somehow, and I actually like replied, and I was very polite. And then I go home, everybody was calling and apologizing. I'm like, okay, what just happened? Like,
Because you know you're supposed to have cried.
and if it was my brother, I would have changed it for him and shouted and what like what would I have done normally? Like the way I responded, I literally like changed it for the person. But respectfully, that others have to come and be like, okay, fair. I heard what happened today. I'm so sorry about what happened. Please, like, I'm so sorry. Like, the man even has to come and apologize later. I'm like, okay, did I just do that? Am I that? Am I that? That kind of. And I've been on the job for like how many years now, and I'm still like doing it.
Yeah,
so it's like,
sorry, that reminds me of when I decided to test the waters of business, like right out of uni. I remember I used to tell people that like I don't really need your money. Like, so if you want to disrespect me, like carry your money and go. Like, I'm in my father's house. I'm just doing fashion because
you want to do something.
I want to. Like, if you don't stress me, if your work is going to stress me, like just
take it
go
out.
away. And I would actually I would actually say things like, oh, like I said earlier, to somebody that wants to patronize you.
We do that now. We do that now.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
Now, it just reminds me of how much growth
has
happened.
Yeah.
Because now I know how to, separate myself from the business.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Emotion.
Like if someone is feeling some type of way about maybe a service I delivered, the person has gone, blah, 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 blah. I hardly get those people actually. God has blessed me with really good clients.
And you've improved over the years.
I have improved over the years, right? But like if that kind of thing happens, I don't feel personally attacked.
Yeah.
Like I might be sad about it, that what went wrong? What did I do wrong? But I would like at this point be able to explain to the person better, and so how would you like me to, what can I do to make this better and all of that. I don't feel like I'm losing anything. I would rather keep, have a happy client than to have taken someone's money and the person is not happy.
Yeah. So yeah.
20s for me, it was different because I had to unlearn. I had to heal from my own childhood trauma.
Yeah.
I had to, growing up and not having to live with both of your parents. So there's a different aspect of life.
Yeah.
For you, and then you've gotten to realize what impact it had on your own life and how you should be a better person and how you should be in a relationship with other people, both male and female, and not always have to blame it on how life was for you when you were younger. Do you understand? And then I also battled with spirituality. I grew from a point of being that Christian who would pray with my friends. If you had a job interview, I would fast for you and we'll pray together. I was that person who would wake up around 3 a.m. and do my divine mercy prayers, asking God for mercy, and also I grew from that to 2018 when I stopped going to church. I just started going to church
again
towards the end of last year. I just started concentrating in church this year, so it's been how many years? That's more than 5 years.
Wow.
Not being in church.
What got to that point though?
Okay, so
Don't cry.
no, I'm not going to cry. So I think well, I talk about it on my Instagram. I was born with congenital kidney issues. So, and then, then you read in the Bible, oh, everything is for the glory of God. And then I'll have people tell me the story of the man that was born blind, that Jesus Christ finally got to heal. And they'll be like, oh, when Jesus Christ healed him, it was for the glory of God. So I just sat down one day and I asked myself, like I had another complication. So I had back and forth after surgery, back and forth, some back and forth health issues, And one day I asked them, like, why do you have to make people go through pain for your glory, just so people glorify your name? So that was how it started gradually. And at that point where I was battling with that whole health comeback and all, I had like one painful relationship that I wasn't expecting the breakup. Do you understand? I don't want to give very great accolades to the fact that relationship was that but it really, really broke me down. So it was at this point, and then I had just finished law school. I didn't make good grades to the effort I thought I put in. Do you understand? I didn't fail, but I just felt, I deserved better. I put in more effort. I was just like, this was supposed to be the crown of every time that I said, if you didn't fail, this is it. So now I
know how
fail.
sometimes it feels like, oh, I didn't really put in that much effort. Let me just. But when you now decide to put in effort,
so it was just like the crown I was supposed to put on all my years of probably not. Some days I put in effort and it still doesn't come out well. You get. So it was. So I had that law school moment. I had the relationship and I had my health struggle. So I was just like, you know what? I mean, please just leave me. And that was how I just
right here.
But that was a devil shot. Devil just package everything up.
And then he gave me, the funny thing, it happened in like almost the same month. It was like September, October. So my law school results came out that same September, October.
Imagine.
I had the same back and forth health issues that September, October from surgery I had done like previous years before, And then that whole, so it was just like, okay, you're not really there. You're not there. Until that song played sometime last year. And I don't even know what made me watch that video with the voice.
Well, that's time for it to be back.
With the sound on, sorry. And then I was like, oh, God accepts me. So is that who would he take me back? Does he still want me?
That's the thing about God. He's always there waiting for you to just always there.
So I had different phases in 2018. And it was something that in my 20s, so it was something that my family members knew nothing about. I'm that kind of person that you can call me and I'll be crying on the other side of the phone, and you're calling to tell me something. Literally, I have to be excited on the other side of the phone because I don't want you to know that I am breaking down. You brought something to me, so I should be able to help you solve it. And you're like, oh, what happened? I say, oh, I'm just lying down, and then I'm trying to sleep or something, And I just, once you're done with the call, I just end it and continue with my whatever I was going through. So 20 for me was academic. Thanks to University of Abuja, I didn't get to finish school on time compared to the year we were supposed to finish. So I had to law school. So I was done in law school. I was called to by 25. Even if I was supposed to have been called to by 23.
Imagine.
So there was that part of life, and then having to be in relationships that broke me beyond what I ever thought it would, I know, because most times when I go into relationship, I'm expecting the worst.
Really?
Yes, I started expecting, oh, this person can leave me. And then I just realized it was, from having abandonment, always thinking about, yes. So it was a trauma I had to work and solve. Do you understand? So it was like, you're starting a relationship, this person will leave me. So I always get prepared for when the person will leave me. So when the person leaves, I'm not even bothered. I'm already detached from the and all. So when the whole relationship happened and I wasn't prepared, so it broke me. So I had to use years of trying to forgive myself for things. So my whole 20s was learning, unlearning, healing, and forgiveness for me. That was what I used my entire decade,
which is beautiful
to do. So I worked on myself, I improved myself, and although I'm still learning, but that was what I used my 20s to do. So I'm just happy at where I am now. as at last year, probably this time last year, if you said, "Oh, spirituality, I'll just be waiting for you to finish talking," I wouldn't even say, "Oh, God bless you," or when people say, "Oh, God bless you," I'm just like, okay. I wasn't even praying. It just started gradually. I'll just go to church and press my phone. Then I started going to church and sitting outside, but within church premises to press my phone. I started driving to church, sitting in the car, pressing my phone. I started, and that was it. And then I stopped praying. And then God helped me. Like I remember my cousin having something, and I was like, "Oh God, if you can actually do this, I will save you." I just needed those two things.
Yes, and then he did.
Yeah, he came through for me. So that was what I used my 20s to do. Sorry, my 20s was quite emotional.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm quite happy that you're ready.
yeah, because I mean, growth is something that you can just do just like that. Like, thank God you know where you used to be. Like it's, and then you now getting to 30, you're now wholesome. You're not like you're not where you used to be, so you don't have to. And that thing is getting when I was about to get married, I was so scared of me being a burden, not financially, let's say emotionally. I never wanted anybody to be my joy. I wanted the joy to come from within. I wanted just to be like from God. My mom retired 2015 and then we received school. That's like our final year. Okay, very low. So she had moved before me, said, for like 5 years. And then she wanted me to move back to Ibadan, and that was not about my life. So I just knew that I was going to stay back in Abuja, but I didn't know what exactly I was going to stay back to do. So it was like years of trying to discover. I read English. So I didn't know how to do So I didn't know how to do my life. I didn't want to be in the media space, or I want to look for like a 9 to 5, or I want to do this or do that, or I want to do business. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just not want to go back to Ibadan. My 3-year-old relationship ended because it was back then. It was in the US. I was doing his masters, and his plan was that when I'm finishing, he's going to be finished as well. Then we'll just relocate to Lagos together. But I didn't want Lagos as well. So it was more of what I wanted. I think it was that the year I chose me. So it was me over whatever my mom wanted, whatever
anybody wanted,
anyone wanted.
What was right for you.
Do you understand? So even when I stayed back, I remember my mom was so angry with me that for like a month we were not talking. She would tell my brothers to call me. Although she actually got me to get a place to stay, but then she was not talking to me. She spoke to her friend to like accommodate me, but she never like called say, "Okay, how you doing?" She just stay back in Abuja. She now told my brother to call. My brother now call and be like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Just tell mommy I'm fine." That kind of, And then serving as well. She was hoping that youth service should take note of Abuja because you cannot be in Abuja and serve in Abuja. That's what they think.
Yeah.
When you have a God, a God does not wear flip flop. So as God will have it, the house should go for me. My guardian then he had connection, so he just asked me, "Okay, where would you like to stay?" And I say Abuja. I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" Where can you say? Like, "Okay, Lagos." For me, I was like, "God, I beg. Let me just stay in Abuja here and get a job here and just focus on my life." Like, so as God will have it, the man is like, I cannot promise Abuja because I school here, so it's quite difficult. But regardless, one of the two was going to work. So the moment like the call up letter came up, and then my mom called me and asked Abuja, she just started the call. Then he called me, I was like, "Where?" I'm like, "Abuja," and that's the last I ever went to that. No jokes. So it was. I'm not joking. I'm actually not kidding.
Did you try to call him afterwards?
Why? Because I knew I wasn't going to like settle. I think my issue there was because he wasn't asking what do you want to do. Like I knew I was made for so much more.
I don't know how come you always give me the Lagos vibes. I told her today.
Yeah, she was in Lagos.
Oh, really?
No, I always thought after you messaged, she just went back to Lagos. She gave me the Lagos vibes.
So it was a time of heartbreak. I went to tell my mom that I'm okay in Abuja. My mom would call me, especially she would cry and be like, "God, please, just come back. What are you doing in Abuja?" It was a time I had to be rebellious. And then I won't lie, I suffered. Oh my God. There was a time that I worked in my time at Minister's here. Then I would enter along. We're living in Gariki too. I would enter along to Banex and I would walk from here to my time. I was a size 6. I wasn't kidding. I would walk from what do you call it? Banex Junction. So this is my Minister's Hill every day because I cannot afford that drop.
That drop.
Or that extra 15 naira to even take car. I could not afford it. Like I was earning 20k and I was living with someone, but I was fending for myself. Like I was feeding myself. So like I had budget and there's no Jupiter.
No debt. You
And
can't
I
get
can
some
say,
budget.
come on, but no. Like I had 150 to buy bread and tea in the morning. Like it was that, like I had to do that, and then it was a time that I just grew, and then it made me more independent because I didn't have money for. Okay, I had to fall back now. My sister would give me money, my brother would give me money. But it's not like you having your own.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because I think that you call and they'll be like, okay, I'll get back to you, and they sometimes don't get back. I cannot bring them
I
back.
have a 30 plus friend who always advises me that it gets to a point where you have to live away from your parents to be able to rediscover yourself and help yourself to get better.
Yeah.
If not, you always baby yourself. I think I'm glad we were able to experience that.
Oh my-
I'm not sure I didn't know what
I did do.
I did experience that in full, and I feel like because of that, actually, to an extent, I baby myself. You know, I grew, but to a large extent, I think I baby myself. I allow myself get help, you know, and all of that. But sometimes I look at other people, like other people who have just had to do stuff for themselves, and I'm like, oh, if I had gone through that, I would also probably have this particular
knowledge or information.
You know, I would also have this particular quality and all of that. But I mean, I never look down on myself.
So I think
that's
that
something
was when I now had to get
appreciate
close to God, because I think that if God doesn't help me in this situation, nobody in this life, they are waiting for me to fail. Because I mean, my mother will be so glad for me to come back to become what, but or the boy that I broke up with now be like, okay, Shebi, you left. What are you like? I was like, God, don't let me go back to my. And that was one prayer I prayed. Don't let me go back to my house in shame. Yeah, so 20 is like beautiful, and I'm happy that your story is so inspiring. Especially yours, Margarita. It's so inspiring.
I don't understand.
No, we did.
You don't know the emotional aspect of my thing.
It was emotional like that, but you know emotional.
I know. I remember I used to, like, when people started like praying for me, unsolicited, unprovoked. I used to be like, but now I'm like, amen, amen.
Ah, no, it's really
Amen. Like I used to actually really push back before, but now
Thank you. Amen and thank you.
my late 22s. Is that a correct?
Your late 20s.
Towards the end of when I was 22,
22,
right?
Okay.
I figured out that like there are just some lessons that if you don't pick what you're supposed to pick, they're going to keep repeating themselves. You have to keep going through the same thing over and over until you get what you're supposed to get.
That's what helped me.
So for me, it wasn't like I stopped, you know, the pity parties for myself. Before I used to be so upset, oh, can't you see what I'm going through? I'm just saying, everybody, apparently, everybody is going through something at different points. Someone else might not be going through something at this particular time. But trust me, like,
what's about to hit them?
Something might be about to hit them. Something might have already happened. What they're going through, they might have gone through it.
And then at that point, they're not like really.
And for me, I started looking at people who have gone ahead of me, who have gone through stuff, and I'm just like, this person is okay. Like, because if I know you're going through something, it feels like life is never going to get back to normal. Like, or maybe you're going through an embarrassing situation. It's like, nobody's ever going to forget. It's like like I said to remind myself that human beings are fickle. Like nobody's thinking about you 24/7.
Something will happen again, and then your own is OGs.
Get moving, you know. So I really started to think about that for myself. Like, oh, how do I move? Let me just. Whatever you want me to, I'm open. No, let me just learn it sharp.
The only thing I was grateful for my friends when I was going through that whole moment is the fact that none of them made me feel bad about, you know how you have judgmental friends that wouldn't want to relate with you
because you're not
on the same spiritual level with them. They're like, oh, you no longer pray, you no longer go to church. They just said, oh, there are other good things about you. Do you understand? And then I had my friends constantly
praying for you and praying over you.
It was more like, oh, I'm coming from a place where Uma used to talk to me about God. And I remember when I first of all received the gift of speaking in tongues. Do you understand? I was super excited. I told my sister, because I never believed, because I'm happy, you know. I never believed that. And when it happened to me, I was just praying, and then I couldn't understand what I was saying. And that was like probably 2016 or so. So it was like, this is Uma who has constantly prayed with us, prayed for us, fasted for us, fasted with us. and all of a sudden she doesn't even want to hear anything concerning God. So it was new to them, strange, and nobody forced me. Nobody had to constantly keep preaching. They were just like, oh, I'm in God's corner, talking to him about just my friend.
Yeah.
So like, I really appreciate them. I really do appreciate them for that. So advice to people who are people in their 20s, advice.
Oh God, tight.
And if your heart clean, just like me, just be easy on yourself.
Yeah.
So I had when other people want to say, oh, people were not really close to me and say, oh, why didn't you go to church? And no. And I said, it's a phase. I either come out better or worse than how I got in. So it's just a phase.
Yeah.
And just be content. Just be content.
It's embrace your journey, embrace your process.
But don't be over content that you do not push yourself to be better.
Embrace the process.
Make sure it's not laziness. It's like you just like, and then don't measure your journey and that person's journey. When you compare, you lose your joy, you lose your way, because you're going to be doing something because somebody else is doing it. You're not doing, and then it might not just
be your path.
Or it might not be my path. My path might not be Margarita's path. Like we might all be going to the same place, but we have different paths like go through to get where we're going to. So it's really different. Trust me. So like find your journey, and then like I said earlier, just stay put. There's nothing outside, literally. There's nothing.
I mean, I'll say that coming from you who went outside.
There's nothing outside. So it's not 20s is a time for you to discover, because that's one thing we all did. Like we all discovered ourselves to an extent, because the learning curve, like as you go up, you learn. So it's not a time for you to be rushing yourself, setting goals that are not achievable. I must be this at that age, I must be this. For some people it actually worked, and it works, but then if it doesn't work for you, then it's fine. There's time. As long as you're breathing right, there's time. So take it easy on yourself. That's what I can say for 20 again.
And we love you. We love you. I mean, we're just coming out from the 20s.
Yeah.
So we love you guys. And we hope you guys will be easy on yourself and do it with love, and learn to forgive yourself more for mistakes that you make.
It's not by either run it or will it.
No pressure for yourself, and enjoy a relationship with him. He's our father and he loves all of us equally.
Yes! So thank you guys for coming on my channel.
This wasn't boring. Was that boring?
No!
So I have something for you guys.
Oh, thank you.
So Margarita, I'm going to open your gift, your birthday gift.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on my channel.
Thank
you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Welcome. It's happy birthday in advance. Don't open, I beg you. Happy birthday in advance.
Thank you so much.
I'm not a mushy person, but I am a mushy person.
You're not?
Thank you.
I'm serious. I
have my husband, but I'm shy. I'm a very shy person. So when I do all those, I feel embarrassed.
I'm such a mushy person too.
Are you serious?
Cry baby, I'm very.
I'm a cry. Did you cry?
Yes.
I'm a cry baby. And another thing that Margarita mentioned, I actually want to buttress on is the gift of friendship. Like,
no, I'm blessed with the most amazing friends actually.
You need that community in your 20s.
That's, I don't know, like I feel like in my late 20s, one of the things that I'm most grateful for is the ministry of the Holy Spirit. And I know some people who are not like Christians, or people who don't, who don't
on that level.
They might not get it. It always sounds like, oh, you're doing too much about the Holy Spirit. But like, if you don't get it, you don't get it, right? But I pray that more
you
get it.
Because
there's no way. Like sometimes you are sleeping and you asked for help about something, and you get it. And it's okay to pursue stuff. Don't feel like you're doing too much, okay? Like it's actually okay, because you start to see the results later. And then it's okay, like don't miss out on stuff just to be cool, right? Like participate. I missed out on a lot of stuff. I wasn't trying to be cool, I was just lazy. Okay, so don't miss out on stuff. Participate, build friendships. If there's somebody that you see that you like, you want to be their friend, approach them.
Like really,
the worst you hear is, no, I don't want to be a friend.
You wouldn't even hear it. You read their body
language,
and it's their loss because you're that person to actually consider
to be friends with after all, right? So don't feel like you're doing too much. Actually go all out,
Yeah, thank you so much for watching this video.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
to
so
our
much.
YouTube channel.
Yes, please.
So come again next time.
Yeah, and subscribe.
Yes.
Like, comment, share your own thoughts. We're about to clock 30. And if you're in your 20s and probably something you're struggling with, and
I'm still in my 20s, so
I'm
if
still
you're
in my
like
20s.
me,
No,
I'm still in my 20s.
when I post, when you're 20.
Oh,
By the time I post, you already.
Oh, happy birthday.
Margarita.
I dare with you. Oh, sorry, my pigeon sucks. I don't know why I do that. But I'm with you for the next
8 months.
8 months.
9 months actually.
9 months.
Yeah.
Another baby is born.
Alright, thank you so much for watching my video. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.